Hello everyone, and welcome to Wine Dine Combine, where the world of wines comes alive right before your eyes. I am Nino, your host for today, and soon we are going to uncork some truly fascinating stories from wines to glass. Today we are taking you to Ta Betta Wine Estates, a local Maltese winery in Siġġiewi. We are welcomed by Miss 𝐅𝐎𝐋𝐿, and she will show us around, tell us more about herself and the winery.
My name is Marie. I've been working now for Ta Betta for the past 4 years, and I'm the general manager here. So trying to run every day different things happening in the winery.
Can you tell us more about Ta Betta, the start, where it all started?
So Ta Betta is owned first of all by Mr. and Mrs. Camilleri. In 2000, the owner decided to purchase a small farmhouse with a small field. There was no vines, there was nothing, absolutely nothing. But they were thinking, just to have a space where they could relax during the weekend. That was the big idea. They just had a daughter, Bettina, and that's the reason why it's called Ta Betta, belonging to Betta, Betta as being a small nickname. In 2003, they met Vincenzo Melia, and he told them that they had a bit of potential. So they were thinking, why not? Wine for family and friends sounds like a fun idea to do. So they got some vines from France, and that's how it started.
I heard about Ta Betta quite recently, let's say 5-6 years ago. Can you tell us more about how it came to the production and how that advanced properly to the Ta Betta what it is today?
Sure. So as I was telling you, 2003 they purchased the first vines, obviously baby vines, so you have to give them approximately 3 years for them to grow. So 2006 was the first harvest, which was done on a small garage on the estate. The result was not bad, so they said, okay, we do seem to have some potential, and then they decided to apply for winery permits to build the winery. But it took 10 years to get the permit. So yes, we're very new on the market, but we have a bit of history behind us because during 10 years they were still producing the wine, experimenting, trying to have the best product possible. And then 2017, it was our first official vintage, but we launched in 2019. So it's a bit of a long adventure, but on the market we are very new.
What are the grape varieties that you produce? Which wines do you have here?
So first they started with the red. It was some Merlot, Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, Syrah. Then, during the 10 years, they traveled quite a bit, especially to California. In California, they tasted the Californian Chardonnay, they loved it. So they decided, okay, let's plant some Chardonnay as well. And then finally, 2 years ago, we planted as well some Mourvèdre that we're going to use in our Rosé. So we're going to have 4 wines. One is 100% Chardonnay. One will be Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. The other one will be Syrah and Cabernet Franc. And finally, the Rosé, which is a Syrah and Mourvèdre, for a total production of 25,000 bottles.
Well, it's not a small production though.
I mean, comparing to I think the total quantity in Malta produced is approximately 1.6 million bottles. So we're on the small side.
A small portion of it, yes. Are you willing to experiment? Do you go to the old-fashioned winemaking, or you're going to the new and untested methods?
Right, so we're a bit of an hybrid. We are in Malta, our winemaker is from Sicily, and then we've got this influence from California for the Chardonnay, but also for the way that we're producing the wine, because we're using cement eggs, which are coming directly from Sonoma in California. So it's a big mix, but then we have, we really wanted to go into the tradition of Takis, which is coming from Tuscany, and it was a bit this French influence as well. That's why we're also using the French oak barrels into the mix. So yeah, it's something a bit different. We had nothing to prove, so we could start with something new, and that's what we decided to do.
I heard a story that you're connected to Maltese Nights, in a way.
In a way.
Can you explain us more about it?
Okay, so as you know, when you're talking about Malta, you're talking about the Knights of Malta. Everything is about the Knights of Malta. And we are no different because the owners decided to name some of the wines after some of the grandmasters. So our Chardonnay is Jean Parisot de la Valette. Then we have the Merlot Cabernet Sauvignon, which will be the Antonio Manuel, Portuguese grandmaster for this wine. Then the Philippe Villiers will be the Syrah Cabernet Franc. And the Rosé is a bit of an exception. It's called after a lady. It's Isabella Guasoni, but she's related to the Knights because she was actually the love daughter of Jean Parisot. So we really wanted to have this Maltese tradition, this Maltese history behind our product, because after all, we are a Maltese product.
You mentioned Mourvedre. How is Mourvedre growing in Malta? Because there's not many cases that this grape is in the local market.
Yeah.
Can you tell me more about how did you get it, and did you have some problems throughout the years cultivating these wines? I mean, it was trial and error, I can imagine, even with blending.
I mean, Mourvedre is still something that you find in south of countries. You have quite a bit in the south of France, for example. You have in Spain, in Australia. Mourvedre is a bit like one of those beach goer kind of wine. It loves the sun and it loves the water. So yes, you have to have
high content of sugar.
Yes, so you have to have quite a bit of water for the Mourvedre. Also, you have to regulate the quantity because it can produce a lot, and obviously then the quality is not going to be as great. So we have to be really careful as well with the yield.
So you're cutting the yield to the.
So that was that. But Mourvedre is adapting quite well. We had a bit of a problem because Mourvedre was just in front of some olive trees. And the olive trees were not happy to have Mourvedre as a neighbor. So they were taking all the water for them. So at first it was like, what's happening? And then we understood that it was the olive trees doing a competition to the Mourvedre. So we put like a wall in the soil in order to...
So you dig a hole and you actually separate it.
Yes.
That's good, that's good. I heard the soil here is quite good. And there is 2 terraces of rocks underneath. Can you tell us more about that?
Here you have mostly limestone. The only part that we don't have limestone will be for the Merlot. Merlot, we have quite a bit of clay. Merlot loves water, so the clay is going to keep the water, so that's going to be important for the Merlot. The roots are going down 3 to 5 meters approximately.
Nice.
We are on a hill, so it's nice as well because like that the water can roll nicely along the hill. But yes, it is quite a perfect location for our vineyard. We had to change the soil though at first because it wasn't alkaline enough. So it was a bit of a big project for that. But now we're pretty much happy about how things are going with the soil.
You mentioned that you had the olives.
Yeah.
Do you do olive oil?
We do. So we have approximately 250 olive trees. The owner didn't go crazy enough to do the pressing of the olive oil outside, but we're going not too far away. We're going to MD now. Since it's a big production, they're doing our batch only, so we know that it's coming from here. And I believe we have approximately 600 liters every year.
I heard about Ta Betta Wine Club.
Yes.
How one becomes a member of that club?
It's very easy. You just have to buy 3 bottles and you're part of the club. So we have different categories depending on how many bottles you want to have per year. And that will be giving you some advantages. If we release some bottles early, you will be advised about it. We're starting to do a lot of different events as well on the property, which will be specialized just for our members.
And when it comes to wine tasting, do you organize wine tastings as well?
Yes. So again, we really wanted to keep this boutique aspect as well into the wine tasting. So it's only on appointment basis, and it starts from 2 people only, and it will be just for these 2 guests.
I see.
We don't want to have the big buses full of tourists outside of the door. We just wanted to keep this nice intimate setting. So during the week we accept very small wine tasting, but I will say that our maximum is between 50 to 60 people, not more than that. Then we're developing as well some new projects. We're also doing picnics in the vines, picnics under the olive trees.
You mentioned that you come from south of France.
Yes.
So coincidentally, you were never in wines before, but here in Malta you started doing wines. Tell us about yourself a bit. How it came that you love the wine, once the person is pulled in the wine world, that's it.
Yes.
No going back.
I've been living in Malta for the past 25 years. So now I'm half-half. But yes, wine is quite new in my career. I used to be working in events, in tourism before that. I lost my job during the COVID, and here they were searching for someone taking care of events, so here I come. The French accent is helpful for the wine, but technically speaking, I didn't know much about it. So I went back to school. So in Malta you have the tourism school, the ITS, and they do the WDC diploma, so I started doing my levels. So I did number 2, number 3, and unfortunately number 4 you can only do it in the UK. So I'm starting to study about this one, and the exams will be done into the UK. But what I love most is not too much about the wine serving and wine knowledge. I mean, I enjoy it, but what I like a lot is what's happening in the vines directly. So I started as well a diploma, it's a French diploma about viticulture, which I enjoy a lot.
Here we are in your wine library, how you call it?
Yes. So this room is a bit our history. This 10 years of waiting for the permit, 10 years of producing the wine in a small garage that we're calling that now Chateau Garage, now we have Chateau Chic. And these 10 years were important for us because it was 10 years of doing some mistakes, doing some good things. So when we launched in 2019, we knew that we were ready because we had already done all the tough job behind it. And all these bottles, unfortunately, they cannot be sold. They're part of our private collection. And when we were talking about the members, well, we are organizing some events when we will be opening as well some of the old vintages so that they can also enjoy, because it is a private collection, but as you can see, there is a lot of bottles. We're not going to drink them all. So we need a bit of help as well.
So which processes do you use and which wines do you age? Do you age even Chardonnay, or you are leaving just for the Cabernet Sauvignon, Cabernet Franc, and?
So during the 10 years of waiting for the permit, it was frustrating obviously to wait, but it was a really good thing because thanks to that we could see how things were evolving with the aging of the wine. So we are in Malta, obviously a lot of sugar, a lot of alcohol in the wines. That's going to be one of the things which is going to protect the wine a bit during
help
the
up
aging. Exactly.
The aging process, yes.
Now here we're talking about big wines, as you were mentioning, the Cabernet Sauvignon, the Syrah. So as well the level of tannin is going to protect the wine. Thanks to that, we're estimating 20-25 years for the red. However, you were talking about the Chardonnay. Chardonnay as well is doing a very nice trip on its own. We are thinking not thinking, 2013 for example is still good. And that was produced in a small garage at the time. So now with the proper equipment, we're hoping that it's going to be even better. And the beautiful thing about the Chardonnay is that it's going to develop and give you like this, aromas of dried fruit and this almond into it.
And you'll get that nice color.
Yes.
You're using the oak trees barrels. So.
Oak barrels directly. Fermentation of the Chardonnay happens directly into the oak barrels. And I like to say that Mr. Chardonnay is our VIP wine because we only do 4,000 bottles per year.
Wow.
So yeah, we have to take care of it.
Can I grab one?
And he's getting all the best part of the winemaking, brand new barrels every year for Chardonnay. He's getting a little massage as well when we're pressing it because it's a pneumatic press, so very gentle press as well for the Chardonnay. Also, Chardonnay is the first one to be harvested in the middle of August. As you know, it's very warm, so 35 degrees. As soon as you cut the grapes it's not feeling too good. So we're going to have some refrigerated vans next to the vines as soon as one box is ready in the van in order to keep this freshness into it.
That is an interesting story. So in Malta it's a bit earlier than the rest of the Europe because of the sun and the heat, and the spring starts earlier. Can you say which sorts, because I know for sure Chardonnay is picking up first, then you're going for Cabernet Franc, maybe in the other grape varieties. What is the order actually that you pick them up?
So usually we do Chardonnay, then we continue with the Merlot, then it's the Cabernet Franc, Syrah, and then the Cabernet Sauvignon is the last one. However, last year it was Syrah who started earlier, so we did Chardonnay, then Syrah, then Merlot, and then Cabernet Franc. So every year is a bit different. It's a story. Every year is a story. Again, Malta, you're not going to have so much of difference of vintages because the weather is pretty much always the same. Not like in the Bordeaux area, for example. But still, every year it's going to be different. So yeah, we see what happens every year. Closer to the harvest, we're going to check the level of sugar into the grapes so that we can see when we're going to harvest, and that's how we decide who is going to start or not.
I see. It differs from year to year, definitely, but
yes.
by end September you're done for sure. So.
Well, last year we actually finished at beginning of October. Last year we had some rain, and if you recall, in August and September.
Yes, it was fresh weather.
And the level of sugar, floop, because of the rain. So we had to wait for the level of sugar
until
to
the sun
come up.
come up.
So October was the Cabernet Sauvignon. We finished it the first week of October.
And how is the acceptance of your wines in the local market?
So it was a bit of a battle at first because we are at 59 euros a bottle, which is quite a high price. So at first people were like, Maltese wine, 59 euros, that doesn't go together. 59 euros, they go for an Italian wine, they go for a French wine. But slowly, the quality of the wine is being recognized. A lot of people have been coming here so they can see how we do the wine, and it's not just we do that and we have the wine. It's a long process, it's a big investment, it's a very small quantity. So everything, unfortunately, has a price, and it puts up the price. We have also international recognition, so that helped us as well on the local market. So yeah, slowly we're getting there, and it's a nice adventure.
I'm seeing a really modern surrounding here, which is probably, apart from the cost that you mentioned, it takes time and takes dedication. You presented us here with Chardonnay grape, the only white grape that you have, and it looks promising.
As you can see, it doesn't look like a Chardonnay, it's a very deep golden kind of color. This influence from California with the fermentation directly into the barrels, which is going to give it this really nice color thanks to the small oxygen coming through during the fermentation. Now, it's a very complex Chardonnay. You have a lot of different layers into this Chardonnay. So we like to say that it's a white wine for red lovers because there is a lot of things happening into this Chardonnay. So first of all, regarding the fruitiness, we are in Malta, it's a warm country, so you're going to have a lot of stone fruit, a bit of tropical fruit, a bit of banana as well into it. Then you have this beautiful vanilla coming directly from the barrels. And then this wine is going to stay on the lees for 6 months, which is going to give you this biscuit, brioche as well added into this wine. All our wines, they are wine for food. This white wine has a lot of character, he has a lot of different aromas in him, and therefore it is definitely a wine for food. Also the amount of alcohol in there is quite high. We're at 14 degrees, so yes, it doesn't feel like it, but it's definitely there.
It's high. I tasted it.
So this is not a white wine that you're going to have with a grilled fish, because the delicate flavors of the fish are going to be erased completely with this big Chardonnay. Here you need to have quite a bit of challenge in front of this white wine. So cheese, obviously, but creamy cheese, it can definitely go very well also with some meat. Some pork, being in Malta, is something that will go very nicely with it. Anything which is creamy, some really nice pasta as well with cream would be something very nice.
Let's test it. Cheers.
Cheers. It is the Syrah and Mourvèdre, yes. So you have here 60% Syrah, 40% Mourvèdre. And it's going to give you this also very interesting color when it comes to a rosé. Yes. So again, we wanted to have our rosé as well with character, and this is not your typical Provence kind of rosé, very light, very nice when you're having just an aperitif or you just want to have during a warm day a nice glass of wine. Again, wine for food. Here you're going to have the fruitiness from the Mourvèdre, which is going to come into quite a bit of ripe melon, a bit of raspberry, pomegranate, and then you have the kick behind it of the Syrah. The Syrah a bit with some paprika as well into it. So it's quite an interesting rosé. Now, obviously, when you think about rosé, you're thinking about summer, you're thinking about barbecue. This rosé, as you may know, in Malta we have a lot of red tuna. This tuna on the barbecue with this rosé is pure magic. So again, you can also pair it quite well with North African dishes, especially like a tagine with dried fruit. The fruitiness of this wine is going to be very nice as well into it. Now, as you can see from the other bottle, it's a different kind of label. You have something with a red label, and this one, as I was telling you before, this is the one called after a lady, Isabella Guasoni. So Isabella Guasoni, she's the love child of Jean Parisot. Jean Parisot, being a knight, he was not supposing to have any children, so she was introduced as his goddaughter. in order for him to be able to protect her. And for this wine, we wanted to name this wine after her because we wanted this element of flirtiness a bit. There is also the story of Isabella, which had a bit of a sad destiny. She got married to a Tuscan noble who was part of the Tudor family. That's the reason why you also have the Tudor rose on the label. Unfortunately for her, she was very beautiful. She was attracting a lot of attention around her. Her husband one day couldn't take it anymore and he murdered her. So then obviously Jean Parisot wanted revenge. He went to Italy, tried to find her husband, never managed to find him, and it is said that he died of a broken heart because of the death of his daughter. So this passion behind it as well with the red of the label.
Unusual combination. Now let's test it. Antonio Manuel, what is the secret behind this name?
So this one is Antonio Manuel de Vilhena. He's a Portuguese grandmaster. And also, I didn't tell you, but on each of the bottles, not only they're named after some of the grandmasters, but the pictures that you see is part of the coat of arms of each of the knights. So Antonio Manuel has the wing. Now Antonio Manuel de Vilhena is well known for the buildings that he did. Vilhena Palace in Andina, the Fort Manuel on the Manuel Island, and the beautiful little Manuel Theatre that you have also in Valletta. That is everything from him. So this one we wanted to name it after him because we think that it's a very charming wine, it's a very opulent kind of wine. Antonio Manuel, as I was saying you, he likes being the center of attention. He did a tunnel. He used to be living in the Grandmaster Palace, and he did a tunnel between the Grandmaster Palace going to the Manuel Theatre. And it is said that he used to be taking this tunnel when there used to be a show, waiting for everybody to be sitting down, opening the curtains, and là, he was saying hello to everyone. Here you have 60% Merlot, 40% Cabernet Sauvignon. So this Merlot is going to give you this beautiful fruitiness, this charming fruitiness, and a lot of black cherries, a bit of strawberry as well into it, the softness of the Merlot, but behind you have the strength and the structure of the Cabernet Sauvignon, and also 1 year into barrels, and these barrels are going to give you a bit of chocolate, a bit of caramel. So yes, it's just, I like to call it the warm hug, this one, it just makes you feel good.
Cheers.
Cheers. This is Philippe Villiers, and Philippe Villiers, well, it's not the warm hug that I was telling you about with Antonio Manuel. This one has a bit of a kick behind it.
Cabernet Franc, Syrah.
Exactly, and this is also a 2018. And here you're going to have 30% Cabernet Franc, 70% Syrah. So Cabernet Franc, still a bit of fruitiness, more on black fruit, but here the star of the show is the Syrah. And the Syrah is going to give you all this pepperness, the spiciness into this wine. Same thing, 1 year into barrels, aging, and that this time around is going to give you more on something a bit smoky, like a cigar box, a bit of leather as well into it. So this is the robust. This can take quite a bit when it comes to food. So here something like a game kind of piece of meat, even duck, for example, will go very nicely with it. And this one also is a bit more exotic for Europe, because the Syrah Cabernet Franc, you will find it in France. Most of the blends are not going to be with these two because they're coming from two different regions. So this one you find it more in South Africa, California, that's where they had tasted it as well and they had loved it. So that's why it's a bit more, it's a bit different. And this one we decided to call it after Philippe Villiers. He's another French grandmaster, he's Philippe Villiers de l'Île d'Adam. And he's important because he was the first one to come to Malta. Now Philippe Villiers is not a charming character at all. He's the warrior, he has a bit of a tough character, it's his way or no way. But here we wanted to somehow blend the spiciness of the Syrah with the spiciness of his character, and that's why we decided to go for this character, for this grandmaster.
Thank you.
You're welcome.